How's everybody doing out there? This is the Cool Club. I want to review the film Lurker. Lurker is a 2025 American psychological drama thriller film written and directed by Alex Russell. The film stars Pellerin, Theodore Pellerin, Archie Madekwe, Zach Fox, Havana Rose Louis, Daniel Zogladry, and Sonny Zolcic. Oh man, I'm butchering these names. Sonny Zolcic. It premiered in the 2025 Sundance Film Festival on January 26, 2025, and released in the United States uh, on August 22nd, 2025, released by Movie. This is actually a good movie. Um, you would think that from just looking at this film, it may just be another one of those. One of those those films like where a person is stalking somebody on the internet or something like that. But no, this film holds a little more weight than that. The plot is retail worker Matthew Morning is employed at a popular Los Angeles clothing store frequented by rising pop musician Oliver, whom Matthew impresses one afternoon by playing an underappreciated song he loves on the store's speakers. So Oliver ends up giving Matthew a backstage pass for an upcoming concert, and he quickly befriends him after inviting him to join his entourage as a documentarian. So he picks him up. He basically picks up Matthew. Oliver is the pop singer. He basically picks up Matthew from the retail store he was working in, and he befriends him pretty quick. He sees his talent, or he says he has an eye for talent. This is the upcoming pop star, so Oliver is trying to look for people who to be in his entourage or whatever. And he invites him as a documentarian. So Matthew is initially met with skepticism and resistance by Oliver's friends, but he eventually is accepted and he begins contributing numerous visual elements to Oliver's upcoming album cycle. Ultimately, he quits his job at the store. Everything seems fine, with this. Everything seems normal. Everything seems cool. As the film progresses, Matthew himself, like he starts to show his true colors. Like he starts to, well, not even his true colors. He starts to become more obsessed with and show his obsession with this pop star. There are some elements of this film where you would even think that he had a sexual attraction to the guy, Oliver. I mean, they never said that, flat out said that, but the guy was so obsessed with him and he played this role so good. You thought that, like in the movie, kind of simulated these close to face moments between the two. That was awkward as ever. There's real awkward moments, you know. But as the film progresses, you'll start to see the guy Matthew become more obsessed, and Oliver's not, he's not feeling that. Because Matthew is doing some things that are pushing other people away. He wants to be the only one, around the guy. He doesn't want anyone else working on taking videos of him. So this brings about a lot of tension, and eventually, Oliver is not, he picks up on this and he's not with all that. It's making him uncomfortable. And as that happens, um, he starts to push or pull away more from the guy Matthew. Matthew becomes even more obsessed, and that's where the film goes and has its twist, has its suspense moments and its thriller moments. This is a good film, man. I'm not gonna lie, it took me by surprise. Um, the movie's 101 minutes. Uh, I would say that Theodore Pellerin, as Matthew. He does a great job. Like this guy can be in some more stuff where he's like, you saw the movie. If you saw the movie The Cable Guy, like I know it's a comedy, like, but Jim Carrey did a great job in that film. Regardless if you, it's a classic film to me. Re- just by that character of Chip Douglas, who Jim Carrey was, who he played. Like, it's a comedy, but Jim Carrey played that role great, and it had a lot of emotion within it. Theodore Pellerin did a similar job. Like, he can definitely play that type of character. He can have a bigger um role. He can have a bigger career in doing thriller and suspense films. Uh, Even Archie Maddoxway as Oliver, I think he did a great job playing a pop star. And he kind of reminded you of one of these. Name a star, your XXX and Tasha Young, uh, even like a Drake. Like he played that type of role very well. I even liked his entourage. They kept the film. They played their roles right, kept the film pretty interesting. I definitely would recommend, you giving this a watch. It's not a bad film at all, and I would say if you wanted me to rate this film, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I give this film a 7 out of 10. Had good acting, suspense, and things like that. Humor, definitely some emotion that you felt in this film. There's, like I said, betrayal. There's a lot of things in this movie you can, sit down and watch. There are no too overt scenes. There aren't many overt sex scenes in the film. Nothing like that. They do allude to, there are some groupie sex or whatever, but and you would think, like I said, they're they play on some homosexual tension there, but they don't fully, ever reveal that or go in with that. So that's not in the film, but still, 7 out of 10 is a good film. That's a pretty solid film. Rotten Tomatoes gave this film a 94%, and Metacritic, using his weighted average, assigned us a 79 out of 100. So it's all pretty universal there. Pretty good film. I would recommend you check this out. 7 out of 10 for Lurker. All right. That being said, this is the Cool Club, and I'm gone.